It's the Prison Break Season 2 finale and the best reversal upon reversal in all 5 seasons of Prison Break. You'd never imagine the psyche of a serial killer could twist to such extents. Just because someone bore a slight resemblance to him, Teabag didn't hesitate to grab an iron tool from the table and brutally smash it into the other person's head, leading to death. After the murder, Teabag checked into a luxury hotel, hiring a prostitute to play the role of his girlfriend, Susan. However, when the hour of service ended and the lady asked for more payment to continue, Teabag felt his mood spoiled by the request. A heated argument ensued in just a few words.
Great, you ruined it, thanks.
You know, I don't know who this Susie Q is.
You didn't just call her did you?
Okay.
Following another murder, Teabag coolly prepared to leave by the elevator, as if nothing had happened. What Teabag didn't anticipate was the astonishing speed at which the cleaning lady would discover the corpse in the bathtub, putting the entire hotel on high alert. And just as he reached the door, Teabag was recognized by the security guard. Obviously, with the stolen $5 million in his bag, Teabag couldn't run fast. But strangely, a few hours later, Teabag appeared in Panama, hundreds of kilometers away. He was accompanied by 2 armed bodyguards. Teabag continued his search for pretty ladies, specifying that he wanted someone willing to wear a wig like Susan's and who could also speak fluent English.
Say, good morning, Teddy.
Good morning, Teddy.
So then, actually, no, you don't speak English. Habla en inglés around here. Say good morning, Teddy.
Good morning, Teddy.
Hey, good morning, Teddy Bear.
Good morning, Teddy Bear.
Like wigs?
For the right money, I like anything.
Thus, a stunning lady stood out. However, in the room, Teabag was alone on the bed playing poker and there was no sign of the young lady. Teabag occasionally pulled back the curtains to look outside, as if waiting for someone. Michael, hiding in the bushes outside, had tracked him down. As he looked at Teabag on the second-floor balcony, memories of their past, including the many innocent lives lost because he had helped Teabag escape, flooded his mind. He decided to personally catch Teabag before leaving for good and send him back to prison, but the always cautious Michael noticed something off about a few people in the crowd. To confirm their identities, Michael thought of a plan.
¿Es bueno?
Es bueno. Gracias.
¿Necesita los otros?
Son tuyos.
Gracias.
De nada.
However, just as he was strategizing, he unexpectedly encountered Sucre and Bellic, who were also looking for Teabag. It turns out Bellic wanted to steal the $5 million from Teabag, and Sucre's girlfriend was being held captive by Bellic. Bellic promised to release Sucre's girlfriend if he helped him get the money, which is why they both ended up at the same place. Learning that Sucre hadn't contacted him through his letterbox, and considering the presence of the 2 bodyguards, it was looking more and more like an elaborate trap to Michael, but they couldn't worry about that now. The trio decided to join forces to catch Teabag and achieve their respective goals. Following Michael's instructions, Bellic activated the fire alarm. Everyone in the hotel rushed out, including Teabag with the $5 million. Closely followed by his 2 bodyguards, Michael and his companions were right behind them. Unexpectedly, there was another person following them, former FBI agent Mahone, now a fugitive himself, aiming to capture Michael to monopolize his escape plan. But then Lincoln, Michael's brother, comes after him and knocks Mahone down with a punch and pushes him into the next room. The 2 engaged in a fierce fight, but with Lincoln's combat skills being top-notch, he quickly subdued Mahone. Meanwhile, Teabag hid in an attic, with his 2 bodyguards blocking the way as Bellic pretended to ask for directions. Sucre took advantage of the distraction to overpower the 2 men, tying them to an iron post hidden in the shadows. The trio entered the attic to search for Teabag.
3 to 1. Do the math. Okay. I don't want trouble.
Unexpectedly, the usually cunning Teabag surrendered, throwing his gun on the floor.
Where's the money?
Who called the cops?
You got 3 seconds, hillbilly. 1.
In there.
Get it.
Sucre, move your ass!
It turned out Teabag had already killed the English-speaking lady. As the trio was shocked, Teabag quickly slipped away through a back door. Hearing the approaching sirens, Sucre rushed to open the door, only to find that the doorknob had already been removed. Bellic pulled out a gun with his fingerprints, realizing they had fallen into a complete trap. With all their might, they finally broke through the door. A shot from Teabag hit Bellic's thigh.
Get the money! You want the girl? Get the money!
Don't.
Inocente!
Great. Come on.
Bellic was captured by the Panamanian police, while the other 3 escaped with the $5 million. As Sucre went to steal a car, Michael finally learned from Teabag that the FBI had caught him in the hotel lobby, and those 2 bodyguards were actually Bill's men. They had offered Teabag freedom in exchange for trapping Michael. Meanwhile, in a part of the ocean not covered by satellites, the company's highest-ranking boss, the general, finally spoke up. He gave Bill an important directive.
How much do you know about Sona, Mr. Kemp?
Only what I've been given clearance on.
Perhaps what our situation requires is a change in strategy.
This time, the directive was simple. They no longer aimed to assassinate Michael but to send him to Panama's Sona prison, because there are more important things waiting for him there. Michael and Sucre had finally nabbed the notoriously heinous Teabag, ready to hand him over to the police. But here's the kicker, both Michael and Sucre were on the wanted list too, as they were hashing out a plan to toss Teabag to the cops and make a clean getaway. Teabag sneakily hooked a screwdriver with his foot from the ground and plunged it into Sucre's body. Michael, in a desperate attempt to unbalance Teabag, jerked the steering wheel, but Murphy's Law, the car careened off the road, propelled by massive inertia, and barreled straight into the woods. Waking up, Michael frantically dragged Sucre out of the car. Meanwhile, Teabag, seizing the opportunity, grabbed the $5 million and staggered into the forest. Sucre urged Michael to leave him behind and chase after Teabag. Michael had no choice but to entrust Sucre to a passerby and dashed into the jungle, hot on Teabag's heels. Given Teabag was lugging around the hefty $5 million, he couldn't run fast, and it wasn't long before Michael cornered him in a wooden cabin in the woods.
What exactly is it that you want, pretty?
I'm turning you in.
Teabag offered to split the $5 million with Michael and go his separate ways, or else he would stab Michael with his blade. However, Michael, determined to bring Teabag to justice, shattered a beer bottle, ready to fight to the end.
Got my answer. Bring it, bitch.
With one hand already out of commission, Teabag stood no chance against Michael. With the knife at his neck, Teabag laughed heartily, convinced that the merciful Michael would never kill anyone.
Who you fooling? You ain't gonna kill me, Mr. Michelangelo. You ain't got it in you. So why don't we just let me kill you?
Soon after, the Panama police received an anonymous tip. Upon opening the cabin, they found Teabag's other hand nailed to the floor. Michael, with the $5 million in tow, made his way to the dock. With money and a means of transportation, he and his brother Lincoln could go wherever they wanted. But upon boarding, Michael realized Lincoln wasn't there. Meanwhile, Lincoln called.
Sorry, Michael. What's wrong?
Well, Michael.
He had subdued Mahone but couldn't bring himself to kill. Mahone took advantage of this, kicked Lincoln's knee, and overpowered him. And now, Mahone has demanded Michael to come with the $5 million for a ransom and to leave that boat for him, because Mahone, now a fugitive himself, plans to take his family and exclusively enjoy Michael's escape plan. Michael, having once sacrificed his future to save his brother, wouldn't hesitate to give up the boat and money. But before heading to the exchange, Michael secured a backup plan.
You still in the magic business?
Siempre.
What's your name?
Chaco.
He ordered another boat from the local underworld and left a special gift for Mahone on the previous boat. But Mahone, cunning as ever, took the keys to Michael's boat first upon arriving at the exchange site. He then called Bill, revealing the location to catch them, and subsequently tipped off the local police about 2 American men who had allegedly shot an Asian man in a suit. With this, even a fool could guess Mahone's plan: to escape with Michael's boat and money, hand the brothers over to the police, and eliminate Bill, who had been blackmailing him. It was a slick move by Mahone, but he completely failed to notice that Lincoln was quietly loosening the bolts on the handcuffs binding his hands. Before long, Bill finally arrived, and Mahone pointed a gun at him, but Bill wasn't scared because he had a backup plan. Lincoln broke free, and a fierce gunfight ensued among the 3 parties. Michael and Lincoln took this opportunity to escape, taking the hidden $5 million with them as they hurriedly fled. Meanwhile, Mahone managed to kill Bill's 2 henchmen and escape. Although he didn't get the $5 million, he was satisfied with the escape boat, but he couldn't have anticipated that the Coast Guard had received an anonymous tip and found 2 large packages of cocaine on the boat. This was Michael's parting gift to Mahone. In Panama, possession of drugs is a serious crime. Mahone was confused. Even if he had 100 mouths to feed, he wouldn't be able to explain. At this point, the brothers Michael and Lincoln emerged as the biggest winners. Led by Chaco, they arrived at their newly purchased boat, where they were greeted by the person Michael had been longing to see, Sarah, but she was arrested by Mahone in the US. So how did she end up here? It turns out, Sarah was prosecuted immediately after her arrest for aiding Michael's escape, which led to 8 prisoners breaking out, and the court was ready to sentence her to 9 years in prison. Just when Sarah was in despair, a key witness suddenly appeared. Paul.
What? A very credible witness has just come forward, and he's willing to testify. He'll corroborate everything you've said about this conspiracy.
Who had been working for President Caroline but ended up with nothing, guilty about Sarah and having done so much for the company only to be betrayed. Paul decided to testify in court. He exposed everything about Lincoln's case and Caroline's deeds, causing a sensation. As a result, not only was Sarah exonerated, but Lincoln and Michael's wrongful convictions were also brought to light, meaning they no longer had to live on the run. However, Michael couldn't be reached by phone, prompting Sarah to travel all the way to Panama. Upon hearing this news, the hearts of the Lincoln brothers remained unsettled for a long time. Yet, before they could celebrate for 2 minutes, Bill showed up again. His mission wasn't to kill Michael but to send him to Sona prison. Thinking Bill was after the money, Lincoln hurriedly threw the $5 million at Bill, only for it to be kicked into the sea. In a desperate moment, Sarah emerged and shot Bill dead.
We gotta go.
Hearing the approaching sirens, they quickly fled in different directions. Lincoln ran and hid in the woods, but Michael and Sarah could not run fast enough. And finally they were blocked in the cabin, surrounded by police. Michael knew there was no escape this time. Michael tried to calm the panicked Sarah and asked her to hand him the gun, pretending they would surrender together. But at the door, Michael restrained Sarah.
Don't move! I'll shoot!
Michael, what are you doing?
Nobody moves! Nobody! Tiene un rey! Tiene un rey!
You sacrificed everything for me once.
No! Don't move!
No, nothing when you do this. Michael!
Now it's time to say thank you.
It was me! It was me!
He's done nothing!
I did it!
He's done nothing!
I did it! I did it! It was me!
She shouted that she was the killer, but in Panama, the authorities couldn't understand her. Eventually, Michael was imprisoned again, this time in Sona prison, along with Teabag and Mahone, and the severely beaten Bellic was there too. Michael soon realized that compared to Fox River State Penitentiary, Sona was truly a hell on earth, a place where you could die in many ways but never of old age, as no one ever leaves alive.